Okay, and we are live. Welcome everybody to Season 1 of F1 2021 from the Ultimate Former. We're back once again with the team and track reveal for Season 1. Joining me tonight is Sir Gwyneth. Quinn, good evening.
Good evening, man. Good evening. Good to be here.
Yeah, how are you feeling? Sorry, how are you feeling about the game and the season ahead?
The game, well, it's a bit questionable at the moment because of all the bugs that are going on, but we had to start this at some point and couldn't really wait much longer. But in terms of the season, we got some newcomers, specifically in TUF2, and I think this might be one of the closest seasons we've had in TUF2.
Yes, so you go on.
Say in terms of TUF1, well, we've got some returning faces in here, and yeah, it's just generally we've got one new face in here in TUF1, but generally it's pretty much the same grid as we had in the last season.
Yeah, sadly we have lost some regular faces, at least for this season as well. But hopefully moving forward across the seasons then, as we progress through the game, we will start to see some of those faces come back. Of course, we have had over 50 sign-ups to the regular season. However, there were a huge number of guys that didn't get back to us regarding their time trial times and their overall pace. So if you have signed up and you are watching, don't forget to get those times over to us, because we do have 4 open seats as we kick off for Season 1. As Quinn said then, a couple of new guys joining, and also your more likely regular faces are back, but we will go through them in more detail as we first of all do Tough 2, and we start with Mercedes. Quinn, take it away.
Yeah, so in Mercedes we have CH55 Max and Kills. Yeah, how are you feeling about that team?
For me, really, Kills has the pace to compete for the championship 100%. The problem Kills has is with his consistency in probably turning up, really, to be honest with you. As for CH Max, he's such a consistent racer. He seems to always finish. If he could just improve on his qualifying pace, I think he'd score a lot more points.
Yeah. So, onto the Red Bull, we have Waitsy and a TT in the Red Bull seats. Of course, TT being a massive Lewis Hamilton fan, being in the Red Bull is not ideal for him, but having Waitsy as a teammate, you can't go wrong with that, really. Finishing second in the last season.
I feel like you've absolutely done this to TT on purpose, but I'm all for it. And as for Waitsy, of course, probably, I wouldn't say a surprise package in the championship bastards. I wouldn't say Waitsy was a surprise in the championship battle last season. However, if you could put Waitsy at the start of the last game and the end of the last game together, it's absolute night and day. I don't think I've seen a progression from a single player over the course of one game. It was absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, it was progressed so far. Going from the first season that I raced, it was, no offense, but it was like midfield driver. But then towards the end, he just burst through, and he was competing for race wins every race, and eventually finished second.
Yeah, got his win. Got his first win, I believe, at was it Zandvoort, or that might have been his second. But yeah, as you said at the start, he wouldn't have been competing for those wins.
Yeah, that Zandvoort win was unbelievable from him. His pace in the wets at Zandvoort was unreal.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's move on to McLaren. We have Doody and myself.
Okay, so the champion then of Tough 2 last season. I'll be honest with you, if I was to, I don't know, before last season, say my top 5 championship contenders, I don't think Doody would have been in it. But he proved everyone wrong, really. His consistency was absolutely fantastic last year. And as we touched on Waitsy there with the championship battle, it's really unfortunate that this battle came in the last season, because it deserved to be broadcast to everybody with a full competitive grid, because they were both just absolutely on it every race.
Definitely. And fun fact about Doody, all the 3 major assists he runs. All the 3 major assists.
Really?
He runs traction control, ABS, and what else is it?
Manual gears.
Manual
Automatic.
gears. He runs like, he just, his pace is unbelievable for running those assists, and I'm hounding him to get the assists off because he'd get even faster.
Yeah, absolutely, I second that. To be honest with you, I think everybody that's done it in the league would second that as well. It's scary to think where his pace could be if he did take off those assists. To be honest with you,
Yeah, definitely.
How do you think you're sort of starting off this year with your pace?
I feel like compared to the end of last game to now, I think I've taken a step forward. I've definitely taken a step forward in like my pace. It's just like working on the consistency and obviously not getting penalties, because I'm just known for that at that point. Just DNFing, getting penalties. That's all I'm known for now. But yeah, I think get my act together. Obviously, not. I haven't even heard the calendar for TUF2, so once I know that, I can gauge an idea of how I can do. But at this point, I'm quietly confident I can do well.
Okay, well, all in due course. We'll reveal the calendar very shortly. But on to the next team then.
Yeah, so we have Ferrari. We have a newcomer in Matty Suddens, I'm not sure how you say it, and Pricey in the Ferrari. I know he'll like that.
So Suddens then, to start off with, raced with us a couple of years ago before heading off to university. So we've got Suddens back. He's known, his nickname is actually Skiddens, because he loved the spin. Great guy, great character. I don't think he'll be challenging at the front end this season. However, with a couple of seasons under his belt and a bit of practice, I think he'll do really well.
Yeah, definitely. In terms of Pricey, well, we know that his qualifying pace is, since the last season he was in TUF2, his qualifying pace was amazing. He was constantly qualifying towards the front of the grid, but his race just sort of let him down, and the penalties that he had kept on getting sort of let him down. But I'm sure that he can get his act together, really. Just keep on consistent racing. Obviously work on not getting as much penalties, and yeah, I think that he could definitely be a challenger for the title.
Yeah, I think he's my favourite, to be honest with you. And that's no slight towards any of the guys that are in the division. But as you said, his qualifying pace. I mean, I think he's got some crazy record with fastest laps as well. If he can just keep it at the front of the grid, keep his nose clean, take the penalties down a little bit, he's sure going to be up there anyway.
Yeah, definitely. So, on to the next team. We've got Jags and yourself.
Yeah. Very happy with Jags as a teammate, to be honest with you. Took his first win last season, or the season before, but definitely on the last game. Again, another really consistent driver.
Yeah.
Not sure how he's going to feel about having me as a teammate, to be honest with you.
I think he's going to feel better about having you than having me in the last season.
Well, you said it.
But yeah, how do you feel about, obviously, you've said how you feel about having Jags, but how do you feel about the new game, and how confident are you feeling on this new game?
To be honest with you, if I'm being totally honest, I don't think I've put as much effort into racing as I should have at the moment. The engine just feels completely different, the whole game engine, and I love the fact that it's been this big change. It feels like it's been the biggest change between a game in such a long time. So it is going to take a little bit of getting used to. But yeah, I think I'll compete for points, maybe for the podium now and again, hopefully. But I'm not expecting too much from myself in this first season.
Yeah. Okay, so on to the AlphaTauri team. We have Batmarker and Jack Muirhead.
Okay, yes. So did Jack do a couple of reserve races last season? I'm unsure if he's just completely new.
I can't remember.
But yeah,
I think
well,
maybe. I'm not too sure.
We're not really sure what to expect from him. Back marker, we know, turned off a few assists last year and started to go backwards, like his name suggests. But hopefully he can sort of rekindle that form which saw him win a race back in, I think it was season 1 maybe. He's got the pace.
Oh yeah, definitely. He's 100% got the pace, and with turning assists off, you're gonna be slower in the beginning when you just turn them off, but as you get used to them, as you adapt to using them, you're gonna get a lot. You're gonna see the pace, and it's gonna come quick.
Absolutely. Okay, moving on then.
The next team, in the Alpine, we have Trunders and Isma.
Yeah.
I do believe Isma is a newcomer to TUF, and of course Trunders. He's made it very vocal that this is his preferred car.
Okay.
And he's just coincidentally just had it whilst I was doing the draws, and I was tempted to change it, but no, I just thought, first season, let him have his preferred car. Trunders, of course, I'd say the same as Waitsy, really, from when I first saw him in TUF to last season. He's come leaps and bounds.
Yeah, picked up his first win in Monaco, of course. Fabulous drive. Trunders is my dark horse for this year. I think he's going to pick up a lot more points, a lot more podiums. I don't think people are going to sort of see his pace come in, and I'm really, really hoping that he proves me right.
Yeah. So next up for Alfa Romeo, we have a Beefstuck and Askylos.
Easy for you to say.
Yeah.
So Askylos then, again, another complete newbie. Of course, we don't really know what to expect from this fella, but we know what to expect from Beefs, and you know him better than I do, so...
Yes, I do believe he got his first race win at Australia. I think it must have been in Season 2 or Season 3. I think it was actually Season 3 in the last game, and of course he's got, like in qualifying, he's got a consistent pace. He can qualify anywhere between, I'd say, first and sixth, really. We saw it in the last season of last game, and he's just like, he is prone to getting some incidents, but when he has a clean race, his pace is just so consistent. He just, like, the lap times are just so consistent on his stints, and I think he could cause trouble. He could cause trouble in TUF2.
Yeah, I think with Beefs it's kind of on par with Kills in terms of they have the pace, most definitely have the pace. It's just the consistency, whether that's being there for every race or just keeping their nose clean. I'll be honest, I was quite disappointed with Beefs in the last season. I expected him to really push the guys and go for that championship battle, but it just didn't materialise.
Yeah. So, move on to the last team, being Williams. We have newcomer Evan Sung and Mini Meerkat.
Yeah. So Evan raced in one of the practice races. I think it was with Beefs. They had a kind of good battle. So hopefully we'll see a bit more of that this season. And Mini Meerkat, of course, he loves his consecutive point scoring finishes. I'm sure we'll hear more about that this season.
Yeah, we will. Definitely will. And I think he can get like the points finishes we saw last season. I just think it's like working on his one lap pace in quali, and then his race pace will just come with that, and hopefully he can get more consistent finishes in the points.
Yeah, I actually feel like he is better in the races than he is in qualifying, to be honest with you. Strategies usually play out pretty well. Like you said, if he can just nail that qualifying, that one lap pace, puts him in a better position for the race then.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so that's the grid for Tough 2 then. As we said, 2 spots available for the Haas team at the moment. If you are one of those people that signed up or haven't sent through your details regarding your time trial times, make sure you get in touch in the chat. We're going to start off with then the calendar for Tough 2. So it's a 8-race season. We start next week on the 25th of August with Netherlands, Zandvoort. We then go Japan for race 2 and Hungary for race 3. Austria then would be race 4 before heading to Monaco for round 5. Brazil is round 6, Russia is round 7, and we end the season in Great Britain. So that is Netherlands, Japan, Hungary, Austria, Monaco, Brazil, Russia, and Great Britain is the first season tracks for Tough 2. So what do you think, Quinn? Are you fancying your chances now you've heard that?
There's some tracks in there that I'm definitely not confident with. One of them being blatantly obvious, Monaco. I don't think anybody likes that track. But maybe Trunders will, as he's
Trunders,
won the last race I was there. But yeah, all the other tracks apart from Monaco, I'm fairly comfortable with. I'd say out of all of them, I'm most comfortable on Brazil, 100%. And it's good days towards the end of the season. And Silverstone, I'm fairly confident on. I just need to work on my 1-lap pace on there. But yeah, overall, it's fairly balanced calendar. You got some tight and twisty tracks, you got some high speed tracks in there as well, and it's going to be a very exciting season.
Yeah, I think the one thing I'm taking from it is that the first 3 in particular are tight tracks. Overtaking's limited in Netherlands, Japan, and Hungary. You've also got Monaco as well. Brazil's quite tight. You've only got 1 or 2 spots for overtaking. We do end the season, obviously, with the last 2 being Russia and Great Britain. I'm expecting more fireworks in those races.
Yeah. Now we've got fan favourite in Austria in there as well.
Of course, yeah. Spice the season up.
Good races.
Yeah. Right. Should we head to Tough 1?
Yeah, I think we should. So, start off with the Mercedes seats. We have Boogeyman and Toma.
Very nice team. Toma showing some really, really good pace early doors on F1 2021. I think he could be one of the guys to beat. Boogeyman, of course, showed some really good mid-pack pace last season with some of the top guys sort of moving on this season. Maybe we'll see him pushing for more podiums.
Yeah, definitely. I just think, Toma's going to be... We saw in last season, specifically in the last couple races, that he's definitely got the pace to be up in the podiums and even for the race wins. We've seen that. It's just sometimes he gets unlucky with getting into incidents, but I'm sure that with the pace that he has, with 1-lap pace, even race pace, is so good, he can definitely win a few races this season.
Absolutely.
So, moving on to the Red Bull, we have Ice Cold Andy and a newcomer in Medi F1.
Yeah, so Medi then showed some fairly decent time trial times. We know the time trial, but you can usually gauge someone's pace from those as well. Andy, as we know, a firm favourite within TUF. Again, you know what to expect from Andy. He's always going to be there or thereabouts. And hopefully he can challenge again for the championship this season.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we saw a little bit of a dip from Andy last season, but we know from previous seasons that he can definitely challenge the top guys and be in with a podium and even an occasional race win. But yeah, we know what we can get from him on a good day. So moving on to the McLaren, we have Eden and Kachal.
I really like the look of this team. Kachal, former Tough 2 world champion, of course. Eden, well, we know Eden again, like you said about Boogeyman, solid mid-table pace. Hopefully with those guys going, he can start competing for the podiums. Did fantastically well, of course, in the F2 championship that we did. He's just got to try and transmit that sort of pace and consistency into the F1 cars. And yeah, I've got big hopes for this team.
Yeah, it's definitely a very good team. It's going to be one that's definitely going to finish, I'd say. And the constructors, I'd say they finish about fourth. I'd say that they'll be a good contender to finish third or fourth in the constructors.
Yeah,
Next we have the Ferraris. We have Stinzap and Boastman.
Yeah. What do you think?
Of course, from racing a couple times towards the start of last season with Stinzap, I know that his pace is pretty good, and he was one of the people who was up there. And from the races that I've seen Stinzap in, like reserving for TUF1, he's held his own. He's been up there, and yeah, I just think he's a very solid driver. He can battle for podiums, I think, definitely. And Boastman, we saw. I'm not sure what to think, Boastman, really. What's your opinions?
Boastman, one thing I'd have to say about Boastman is he absolutely nailed strategy. If we had a league table for positions gained in the race from qualifying, then I think you've got to say Boastman is probably number one. But that also then says that he qualifies pretty badly too often. And it's not because of his pace, because he's got the pace. I don't know what it is about him in qualifying. He just doesn't seem to have that one lap pace which can get him in, further up the field. In terms of Steinzap, like you said, absolute solid racer. Will have no problems fitting in this division whatsoever.
Yeah, definitely. So next up in the Aston Martin, we have Julian and Young Breezy.
Yeah, so Young Breezy then returning. He took a season out. He is one that's known for a few connection issues, so he does sort of lag out. Hopefully that will get fixed coming into this season, because I don't think he really truly showed his pace in F1 so far.
Yeah.
I think it's fair to say Julian goes in as the favourite.
Yeah, definitely. Every season, pretty much every season he's been part of, he's been one of, if not the favourite for the title.
Yeah, absolutely, and rightly so as well.
Yeah, definitely. So, move on to the AlphaTauris. We have Henry Rogers and Santero.
Yeah, what do you think?
For me, last season, Santero was a real surprise package on how he was in qualifying, and even better in the race. He just really surprised me when I watched the races, and if he can take that even further into this season, we could see him challenge even more for podiums and potentially even a couple race wins. And in terms of Henry Rogers, we know what his pace is like. I'd say he's upper midfield, verging on top drivers, and I just think he's a very solid driver, and this team could be really scary with both of them looking to get decent points finishes every race.
Yeah, I gotta agree. You said about the McLarens, Eden and Kachel probably hovering around fourth or third. I think these boys would be up there as well, fighting in that battle, if not a bit further up. Like you said, Santero, probably because he's not the most vocal in the chats. He sort of just goes about his business quietly. Very, very solid driver. Henry as well, coming to the league about season 4, showed some really good pace. I think this guy's gonna really win. I think he'll win a race this year, for definitely.
Yeah, definitely. So next up in the Alpines, or Alpine, whatever you want to call it, it's Foxy and Schoen.
Solid.
Yeah, very solid.
Along with probably Rogers, Julian, Toma, maybe Andy, I'm really fancying Foxy to lay down the gauntlet and have a battle for the championship this season.
Yeah, definitely. He's always qualified towards the front, and sometimes his races have let him down where he's got into a couple incidents here and there, but overall his pace has just been so good. And in terms of showing, in the last season he was part of TUF2, and yeah, I feel like that gave him the push. That season where he was challenging for race wins, challenging for podiums, that gave him so much of a push and energy to just get him back into his stride, really.
Yeah, I think dropping down sometimes can do that for you, get you a little bit more confidence. The thing is with Sean, I think he just wants a consistent runner. He's chopped and changed between 1 and 2 depending on what other people want and what's needed for the league. I just want him to have a solid season, to feel like he's not going to worry about fitting in elsewhere. He is where he is. He deserves to be in Tough 1. Obviously, he's pulled out so many times so he could do commentary for Tough 1 and things like that. I really hope for his sake this year that it's a clean slate. He gets the race. He doesn't have to worry about anything else. Just gets to go into to Tough 1 and do his little thing. And of course, for those that didn't know, in the break he did, of course, become a dad as well. So it's a big TUF congratulations to Sean.
Congratulations. Yeah. So, move on to the Alfa Romeos. We've got Weavesy and Silent.
Dangerous team.
Yeah. That's a really, really dangerous team, of course. With Weavesy, he's just not really sure what to say about Weavesy. What's your opinions on him?
I think he's brilliant. I genuinely think he's brilliant. He's so good on his tyres. He's so good on strategy. I think it was the Abu Dhabi race last season where he just makes a bit of contact. I don't know if it was his fault if someone made a bit of contact with him, but he was definitely on for a podium that day, and he ended up, he dropped down a few places. I think he went down to as far as 12th, but then because he had no penalties, he still ended up finishing P4. And I mean, that's just fantastic.
I think
did he get a podium? Yeah, yeah, but it was thoroughly deserved. The guy doesn't pick up penalties. He pits when he needs to pit. He gets the strategy right 9 times out of 10. I think I remember one race in Tough 2, it might have been Russia, where he went too far, didn't pit under a safety car. But other than that, he's been absolutely fantastic, and I really hope that he can show his pace in Tough 1 this year, because he is dangerous.
Yeah. So, what about Silent?
And I think same with this guy. 1 lap pace can be scary. Just needs to get it all together in a race, and he will challenge.
Yeah. So, going on to the last team in TUF1. If you've been listening around, you might know who you are, but we've got Bats and Dreamsy in the Williams.
Very nice.
Yeah, of course, Bats, he showed in the last season that he has the pace to get a decent point finish every race, and obviously coming up with Toma, seeing both of them come up as they have from TUF2 and just taken TUF1 in their stride, it's been so good from my point of view, and I just hope that Bats can continue to grow as a driver and just keep on pushing forward.
Yeah, I have to agree. They've both sort of namesakes now in the division, and deservedly so. Bats, as we know, is great with the tyres himself, great with strategy, doesn't pick up too many penalties. I don't know, I feel like the last season, season 5, wasn't a very good season for him. I think he would have been well aware of that, but hopefully with the break and a little bit of practice now on the new game, he sort of kicks on from you.
Yeah. So, what do you think about Dreamsy?
Good driver. I think he needs to really pick up his game this season. If he doesn't want to drop down, I think he turned off all assists, I believe, or he started racing on a wheel, so he was taking a bit of time to get used to it. Obviously, he's stuck for what days he can race. But I mean, if some really fast guys start coming out into Tough 1 and Dreamsy doesn't pick up his pace, his position is going to be under threat, unfortunately. We hope that doesn't happen, and we hope that he can kick on, but we've got to be realistic as well.
Yeah. So I think it's time we move on to calendar for TUF1.
Yeah. So starting then, this Monday 23rd for Tough 1, and you called it an absolute crowd pleaser earlier, and it is going to be a crowd pleaser. The absolute curtain raiser is going to be Austria this Monday for Tough 1. We then head to Spain for round 2, Russia for round 3, Japan for round 4. We then hit Netherlands for round 5, Belgium round 6, USA round 7, and we end the season in Monaco.
That's going to be an interesting title decider if it goes the distance.
Absolutely. We did have a crossover here with about four races, featuring in both divisions, but luckily they're not sort of back to back. You probably look at that and say the season couldn't start anywhere better, but couldn't end anywhere worse.
Yeah, I think Austria is just a so well liked track, and of course it's probably the most used track on like TT. It's just a fact. It's the most used track on time trial.
Yeah,
and I think that it's for the start of the season. Obviously, the run down into turn 1 on lap 1, you're gonna have like a few tyre bangs here and there, some spins, especially if it's wet. But it's just gonna be such a good track to start the season off at.
Yeah, absolutely.
Whereas, on the other side, we have Monaco at the end of the season, which is it's just not fun.
I'm really hoping we have a title decider going into that one. It'll just be fireworks. It will be absolute fireworks. Right, and there we go then, guys. I will very shortly pop in the teams and obviously the calendars as well into the Discord chat, so you can all look back upon them. Quinn, thanks very much for joining me this evening.
No worries, man. Always a pleasure.
Yeah, the pleasure's all ours. And like we said, guys, 4 open seats because those guys haven't given us the information we require. If you are listening in, don't forget to subscribe. We race every Monday and Wednesday at 9 PM, and we look forward to seeing you down the road. Take care, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.